Hey guys, it's Amber from NotableInk.com, and I'm going to be sharing 2 ways you can use landscape silhouette stamps today. I'm hopping along with Sweet and Sassy for their giveaway hop, and I'll have all the details for you to get in on winning a $20 gift code to shop Sweet and Sassy down below. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that. Here is the landscape silhouette stamp set from Sweet and Sassy, and look at how many options are here. When I saw this stamp set, I knew I needed to have it. I recently posted a Copic Tips for Beginners video, and I'll link that in the upper right hand corner, where I talked about choosing photo inspiration and choosing inspiration that has some silhouettes in it to make things a little bit easier. So this is perfect for that. So we're going to follow up on that technique again today. So I'm going to start off with a piece of Hammermillamp premium copper paper. I'll have all of the products listed below. This is my preferred Copic coloring paper, but use whatever your favorite is. And I'm just using a circle stacking die to draw a circle here so I know where I'll be coloring. I have a photo reference here from pixabay.com, which has copyright-free images that I can share with you. So it's a great resource if you need a photo reference for your project. I'm just pulling Copic markers from my collection and writing down the ones that I think match the colors in the photo. Nature does a much better job of choosing a color palette than I ever will, so I highly recommend you referring to your photo reference to pick your colors. I'll have all the colors that I actually use down below and then also in my blog post as well. Next up, I'm going to stamp the silhouette stamp set in a alcohol safe ink, and I'm heat setting it because I don't like to wait for it to dry. I left the stamp in my MISTI so that I can come back in at the end and add another layer of a pigment ink. So it's not a Copic safe ink, so I'm going to stamp that at the end just to make sure that it's a really deep dark black. So I'm coming in with R35 and I'm just laying down some initial color, and I'm going to use the photo reference as a guide, but I'm not going to follow it exactly. Mainly what I'm using the photo reference for is where those color blends go. You know, the reds, the kind of pinkish reds moving into the purples and kind of how deep they are. I'm not going to attempt to do fluffy clouds like you see up there. Whenever I do my skies, they end up being a little bit streaky, which I really like. I like the look of that. Also, it doesn't require a lot of effort or a lot of skill. So that's how I do. So this is something that is approachable. You know, if you are looking at your marker collection and you can pick colors similar to what you see in your photo reference, or pick a reference that you know you have some markers that would work for it, then you could totally do a scene like this. This is really quite approachable. So, and I just keep building up the color until I'm happy with it. So I'm going to put on some music because there's not a lot to say during the coloring per se, and I will catch you back closer to the end of this coloring to add a little bit more information and then also to put the card together, and then of course for the second card as well. All right, so we're getting the coloring to a pretty good place where I'm happy with it. I love how it looks in comparison to the photo reference. I think these colors together are gorgeous. Especially the VO6. The VO6 with that R35 I thought was a really great combination. So here I have a black pigment ink, and again, that's just going to make that silhouette super dark. And I felt like once I put the card front on top, that I needed a little more depth at the top, so I'm going to add that. But I grabbed the wrong marker, so now I have this really dark streak up there. And I continue to grab the wrong marker. You're going to see that again in a minute. So I'm just building up a few more lines. I also felt like when I put the card front on, there were some areas that looked like blocks of color that I didn't really like. So there we go. There's the wrong marker. And then again. So I'm going to try and blend that out. It wasn't going really well with the purples blending it out, so I brought in the R35, and that made it a little more mottled, which made it blend in a little more. So again, I'm up on the tip of my marker now, adding really thin streaks of color just to break up some of those blocks of color a little bit and getting it to where I'm happy with it. So you just kind of keep adding until you're happy. I've treated the card front with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to gold emboss a sentiment. Now, this stamp set is chock full of landscape silhouettes, but there aren't any sentiments. So this sentiment is actually from Altenew. It's not from Sweet and Sassy. And it reads, "One friend can change your whole life," which I thought was so perfect for this landscape silhouette. So for this elephant and giraffe that we have there. And I think the gold embossing on the black looks really nice. I'm just going to knock off that powder with a Nuvo surface sweep, and here's the finished card. I love how it turned out, and I hope that you feel like after watching this that scenes like this are maybe a little more approachable for you if you're just getting started with Copic markers and coloring. Moving on to our second scene, I thought it would be fun to do something completely different. So we're going to do subtle misty tones. So I wanted people to know that, of course, you don't have to stamp silhouette stamp sets black. They can be any color that you like. So here I started with pale mauve, and then I'm coming in with some patchy areas of amethyst ink, which is a darker purple. And I'm going to leave some of the trees with just pale mauve on it to kind of create that misty effect. So like you have a layer of fog sitting in front of some of those trees. So then I'm going to go ahead and ink blend some Misty Morning, which is a light dusky blue color. And I'm applying a super light layer of this color. In fact, you can barely see it. Once I've added a little bit of this, I can see it in person, but once I've added a little bit of this, I'm going to switch over to pale mauve, which is that lightest purple color. And you want to make sure you clean your surface in between your colors so that things don't get muddy. And the color was so light I couldn't even tell where it was, so I just wiped the surface clean. So here I'm adding a little bit of the pale mauve, and you won't really be able to notice, like you can see it a little bit here. It'll be more apparent that there's actually color on there once I've cut it down and added it to the card front. I'm going to mat it with a Curious Metallic Luster cardstock, which is kind of like a shimmery pearl gray color. And then I'm going to mat that in black. So first I'm going to do some ink blending here. I wanted the ground area to be larger than what it was because I didn't want the stamped image to be totally down at the bottom. So I'm taking out that amethyst again, which was that darker color of purple that we used, and I'm doing some heavy ink blending here. And at first when I take the tape off, you're going to see a pretty strong delineation between the stamp and the ink blended area. As that color dries, you're going to see that blend in more and it's going to be less noticeable. But I didn't mind the delineation between the two to show that those were kind of more like bushes and kind of like a meadow, and then you had the ground. So I'm going to take some pure white ink spray and just flick that on. So when you first do this, your drops are going to be pretty large, and then as the nozzle starts to run out of ink and you're flicking it, it's going to get much finer, your flicks. So this is always how I do my white splatter, also black. This is how I prefer to do black as well. And here's the finished card. I think that the black really sets it off, especially since my sentiment is black. I wanted black somewhere else on the card to tie that in. And again, I decided not to embellish this to keep things clean and simple. So here are the two cards together. I hope that you enjoyed these projects today. Of course, the ink blending version is much easier, but two completely different ways that you can use these landscape sets. You could also watercolor with these. There's just so many options that you can do with these. So I hope that you give these a try. If you do, I'd love to see your projects. Tag me at Notable Ink on Instagram or Facebook. And definitely check out how to enter the giveaway down below. And I'll have the next person on the hop listed down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I'd love it if you subscribed and joined our family. That is not a condition of the giveaway. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you real soon with more inspiration.